Hey guys, what is going on? So I wanted to talk about one of my favorite supplements from Gorilla Minds, and that is their glycerol. More specifically, this new version, which is a liquid glycerol, which just removes the grittiness from the standard powdered version. So a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with glycerol because they love the effects, but they hate the grittiness, and it just ruins their pre-workout experience. So if you're one of those people, maybe this is something you want to pick up. Before I get into the differences between this and the powdered version from a cost perspective and in terms of mixability and everything like that, I want to touch on why you'd want to take glycerol in the first place for those of you who have not experienced the magic of glycerol. So glycerol is a hyperhydrating ingredient. So it allows you to hold on to more water. This is going to improve your pumps massively, kind of a similar effect to if you were to have a lot of carbs and hold on to a lot of water in that regard. Similar thing, water is extremely important for muscular contractions and looking big and being pumped. So it's very beneficial for that. But in my opinion, the most important aspect of glycerol, this is the reason I take it. It's cool to look pumped in the gym. That's great. But having the performance increase that this product gives you far outweighs the pump in my opinion. So if you haven't looked at the research of the difference between a dehydrated person and a properly hydrated person, there's a massive difference in terms of your performance output in the gym. So if you're not going to, read the research and stuff like that, basically I'm paraphrasing by saying that being properly hydrated, and this doesn't mean just taking glycerol, it means a variety of things. But if you are properly hydrated, and in this case, adding that hyperhydrating effect by taking glycerol, your performance is going to increase dramatically. This is both power output as well as endurance. So I really think that taking this is beneficial for getting 3 sets, 4 sets, and keeping your reps high. I really like to do bodybuilding rep ranges. So like 8 to 12 reps is usually where I'm working, sometimes even more than that. And the endurance and the power that you get from this and just being hydrated in general, that's going to be a massive improvement in your performance in the gym. And that's all the gym is about, is progressive overload, increasing your volume over time, adding another rep, adding another set, adding more weight. So if you can do that by being properly hydrated, I think you should be doing everything in your power to maximize your hydration. So this needs to be used in conjunction with water. Obviously, being hydrated, if you can't intake enough water to get the effects of this, you're not even going to notice it. You are going to be dehydrated if you don't have the water. Now, this also means having adequate electrolyte intake. So sodium is obviously the most important one, potassium, right? So you want to get your electrolytes in. You want to get a lot of water in, like more water than usual, because you're going to be holding on to a lot more. And then having proper carb intake as well. So I'm a huge advocate for having a high carb diet, or at least if you're not going to have high carbs throughout the day, get them peri-workout. So before your workout, after your workout, it's extremely important. So having enough carbs, having enough water, having enough electrolytes, and then only then adding this on top, it's going to take your workout to the next level. So I think this is kind of like progressive overload in a bottle, because it allows you to get more reps, more sets, add more weight, and this is going to allow you to week to week accumulate more volume, get more stimulus, and grow more. So extremely, extremely important. And for me, I think that this is more important than nitric or more important than mode. I would rather take this as a pre-workout than anything else. It is the most important. Now, I personally, again, I like to combine mode and this, or nitric and this, but if I could only choose one, I'm choosing this, which is, considering how cheap this is relative to some of those, nitric can get pretty expensive if you're taking the max dose. This is a much cheaper way to get a really good pump, get, improved endurance and performance in the gym and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys already know how important that hydrating effect is via, water and electrolytes and everything like that. Hopefully you've already experienced that and can attest to that. This is just going to take that to the next level. So again, staple, I always use this, at least when I'm bulking. I use this every single workout. Can't go without it. So that's why you'd want to use glycerol. That's why I really like it. And again, it is one of my favorite supplements from Gorilla Mind for that reason. Now, why would you opt for liquid glycerol versus the standard powdered version? Well, and like I said before, people have a love-hate relationship with glycerol because they love that increased pump more so than anything. A lot of people take it just for the pump. I'm much more about the performance increase that you get from it, but they love the effect of glycerol but it's a powdered mess. It makes your pre-workout, if you mix it in with your pre-workout, really gritty. A lot of people just can't stand it. I've had a lot of people DM me where they're just like, dude, I love glycerol, but I just cannot deal with the grittiness. And I usually just say, suck it up. I've been taking glycerol for years. So like, I'm used to it. I'm totally okay with it. In my personal experience, like if it was my money, I'm taking the powdered glycerol just because it's cheaper. Because I don't mind the grittiness. You know, it's not a big deal for me. I've been doing it for years. If you hate it though, this is an alternative. Now, one thing that you need to understand is that this is more expensive, both in terms of how much the bottle is relative to a standard bottle of the powdered glycerol, but you're also getting less overall glycerol. And it's kind of confusing considering the way that they dose this in terms of, you know, what a cap is in terms of how much glycerol you're getting. But I'm going to make it very easy for you so you can determine, you know, in terms of cost effectiveness, which one you want to do. So the standard powdered glycerol that those of you who've tried glycerol in the past, the Gorilla Mind one, it is 100 servings of glycerol, 10 grams each. So that is 10 times 100. You're getting 100 servings of 10 grams. So you're getting basically 1 kilogram or 1,000 grams of glycerol. This is dosed differently. If you look at this on the label, I know you're not reading it with me here, but half a cap yields 12.5 grams of active glycerol. 1 full cap yields 25 grams. There's 30 servings of 25 grams in here. You do the math on that. That amounts to 750 grams. So you're getting 75% of the total glycerol that you get in the powdered version in this liquid version. So you could say, okay, it's 75% as much glycerol. It's also a little bit more expensive. So this before a code is 45 bucks. And I think after code takes off 10%, it's 40 bucks. The standard glycerol is $35. You take away $3.5. What is that? 31.5. So you're spending $8.5 more to get 75% of the glycerol. Now, that's obviously a worse deal, but how much do you care about the grittiness? So if you don't mind the grittiness like myself, you're getting probably, what is that? You know, 60% of the total amount of glycerol in terms of cost effectiveness. Like glycerol per dollar, you're getting probably 60% with this, somewhere in that range. Whereas the, you know, regular version, you have to deal with the nasty grittiness, which people think is way worse than I think it actually is. But if that's something that you really hate and you're willing to spend a premium, that's what this is for. Now, there's also the potential added benefit. I don't have enough experience with this to be able to tell you because I've only taken this twice, because when I'm cutting, you know, I'm not eating as much carbs. I don't want to take this before my workout every time because I want to be fasted when I'm working out. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to fully test this. But there is a theory that the absorption of the liquid glycerol is going to be better, potentially yielding better pumps from the same gram dosage. Considering it's a liquid, maybe a lot better for that reason. Can't speak on that. I feel like I got a pretty similar effect the 2 times that I've taken this. But again, I'm on a much lower carb diet right now. I'm cutting. So I'm not getting as big of pumps and everything like that. So I can't say if this is better than the other version in terms of gram for gram, but I would imagine it's at least as good. And then in terms of the mixability, this is unflavored. So you can just throw it in any pre-workout you take. You can throw it in water. I can't even taste it. And it mixes perfect, right? No grittiness. It's literally a liquid. So it mixes perfectly. The powdered version obviously is a gritty disaster, but its effects are very good. So in my opinion, again, if it's my money, I personally don't mind. I'm taking the larger glycerol dosage. I'm buying that all day. I think that's a better bang for your buck. One of the greatest things about glycerol is how cheap it is compared to how good it is. So when you make this more expensive, sure, you're removing that grittiness, and that is really just turning some people off from it entirely. And if that's you, this product is for you, the liquid version. If you don't mind it, or if you've never tried glycerol, I guess I can't really say whether you would care about the grittiness or not, or if you think it's worth the extra premium. But again, just keep that in mind. This is going to be more expensive. It's less bang for your buck, and so it takes away from some of that appeal, but you are getting that grittiness kind of removed. Now, another thing I do want to mention, The current version of glycerol that they offer is flavored, which in my opinion is a benefit. This is unflavored. So maybe you think the, flavorless thing is good. Maybe you want to have the flavor. Again, that's very subjective. Same thing with the grittiness, it's subjective. They are going to be removing the flavor from glycerol in the future. So the current glycerol that they have on the site, the flavors that they have available, those are still in stock. I don't know which flavors are in stock, but if you want to pick one of those up, it's while supplies last. So if you want to get that, they're going to stop having flavored glycerol. They're still going to have the powdered version. It's just going to be unflavored. So if that's something you want, again, if you want the flavor, pick them up now. Once they're gone, they're gone. It's going to be flavorless, just like this is. And then, yeah, you can opt for the flavorless version in the future. I don't know if they're going to have a different price on that. Hopefully it's a little bit cheaper, in which case you're going to have even more bang for your buck. But yeah, hopefully that helps you guys make the decision. Again, if it's me, I'm buying the powdered version. If it's you, somebody who hates the mixability and grittiness of glycerol, and you're willing to pay the premium, because it's still a pretty cheap product. If you're taking like 12.5 grams of this, you're getting 60 servings. That's still pretty cheap for a pre-workout. And I think it's much more potent than like pretty much anything else you can get from a pump perspective and performance improving perspective. So I really think it's still a good deal with the liquid. But if you're not willing to spend that extra money, but you still want the benefits of glycerol, and you can handle the grittiness, again, that's what I would go for. So hopefully this helped you make a decision. And yeah, anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.